My daughter found out I had a boyfriend at 74. Her reaction made me cry. I am 74 years old, and 3 months ago, my daughter made me cry harder than I have cried since the day I buried my husband. But here is what no one tells you about tears at my age. Sometimes they are not what you expect. Sometimes they change everything you thought you knew about your own child. Let me tell you what happened, because if you are watching this, you might be standing exactly where I stood, afraid to live again because of what your family might think. My name is Eleanor. People who have known me a long time still call me Ellie, though not many of those people are left. I was married to my husband Richard for 47 years. We met at a church picnic in 1972, married 8 months later, and built a life that made sense. We raised 2 children. We paid off a house. We argued about money, about how to discipline the kids, about whether to get a dog. We got the dog. Her name was Biscuit, and Richard loved that dog more than he ever admitted. When Richard died 4 years ago, I thought my life had ended too, and for a while it had. The first year I barely left the house. My daughter Catherine, she is 51 now, she would call me every Sunday and ask the same questions. Are you eating? Are you sleeping? Are you taking your pills? And I would say yes to all of them, even when the answer was no. I did not want to be a burden. That is what women my age were taught. Do not be a burden. Do not ask for too much. Do not take up space. So I made myself small. I ate dinner standing at the kitchen counter because sitting at that empty table felt like a funeral every night. I watched television shows I did not care about just to hear another human voice in the house. And then, 18 months ago, something happened. My neighbor Harold knocked on my door to return a package that had been delivered to his house by mistake. Harold is 78. He moved into the neighborhood after his wife passed, about 2 years before Richard died. We had waved at each other across driveways for years, but we had never really talked. That day, he stood on my porch holding that package, and he said something I will never forget. He said, "Ellie, I noticed your roses are not doing so well this year. Richard used to take care of them, did he not?" And before I knew it, I was crying on my front porch, in front of a man I barely knew, telling him that I had not touched those roses, because touching them felt like admitting Richard was really gone. Harold did not run away. He did not get uncomfortable. He just stood there and nodded and said, "I understand. My wife had a garden too. I cannot even look at tomatoes anymore." And something in me cracked open, not in a painful way, in a way that let light in. He started coming over to help with the roses. Then we started having coffee on my back porch on Saturday mornings. Then the coffee turned into dinners. Then the dinners turned into something I never expected to feel again. I started looking forward to waking up. I started caring about what I wore. I started laughing at things that were not even that funny, just because laughing felt good, and Harold was there to laugh with me. You see, I did not fall in love with Harold the way I fell in love with Richard when I was 23. That was fireworks and racing hearts and staying up all night talking. This was different. This was 2 tired people finding warmth in each other. This was sitting in comfortable silence and feeling less alone. This was someone remembering how I take my coffee and bringing me the newspaper because he knows my knees hurt in the morning. But I did not tell anyone. Not my son Michael, who lives in Oregon and calls once a month. Not my friends at church, and especially not Catherine. Catherine, my daughter, she had taken Richard's death almost harder than I did. She idolized her father. She called him every single day when he was alive. When he died, she threw herself into taking care of me with an intensity that sometimes felt suffocating. She had opinions about everything: what I should eat, whether I should sell the house, why I should not drive at night. And I just knew in my bones that she would not understand Harold. She would think I was betraying her father. She would think I had lost my mind. She would think I was being foolish. So I kept him secret. For 8 months I kept Harold hidden, like I was a teenager sneaking around. He would leave before Catherine's Sunday calls. I deleted our text messages, even though there was nothing scandalous in them. When Catherine visited, I hid the second coffee mug, the extra toothbrush, the signs that someone else had been in this house, in my life. And here is the thing about secrets. They get heavier the longer you carry them. I started feeling guilty all the time. Guilty for being happy. Guilty for not telling my daughter. Guilty for living when Richard was not. Then came the day everything changed. It was a Thursday afternoon in September. Catherine had driven up for a surprise visit. She does that sometimes, shows up unannounced because she worries about me. I was not home. I was at Harold's house. We were sitting on his couch watching an old movie, and my phone rang, and it was Catherine saying, "Mom, I am at your house. Where are you?" And I panicked. I lied. I said I was at the grocery store. I rushed home, my heart pounding the entire drive, and when I walked through that door, I saw it immediately in her face. She knew. She had found the card. Harold had given me a card for my birthday 2 weeks before, and I had kept it in my nightstand because the words inside made me feel seen. She had gone into my room looking for something, I do not even remember what, and she had found that card. And she had read it, and she knew. The silence in that kitchen was the loudest thing I have ever heard. Catherine stood there holding that card, looking at me like I was a stranger. And then she said 5 words that broke my heart. She said, "How could you do this?" I sat down at the kitchen table because my legs could not hold me anymore. And I did something I should have done months before. I told her the truth, all of it. I told her about the loneliness that was so heavy some days I could not breathe. I told her about Harold's roses and our Saturday coffees, and the way he makes me feel like I still matter, like I am still a person and not just a widow, not just someone's mother, not just someone waiting to die. I told her that loving Harold did not mean I loved her father any less. I told her that my heart was big enough to hold them both. And then I said something that surprised even me. I said, "Catherine, I am 74 years old. I do not know how many years I have left. Maybe 10, maybe 5, maybe 1. But I know this. I do not want to spend whatever time I have left being alone just because you think that is what loyalty looks like. Your father would not want that for me. He told me so." She looked up at me. "What?" I said, 2 weeks before he died, your father held my hand in that hospital bed, and he said, Ellie, promise me you will not sit in that house alone for the rest of your life. Promise me you will find reasons to smile. And I promised him. And then I broke that promise for 4 years because I thought I was supposed to be miserable, because I thought that is what a good widow does. But I am done, Catherine. I am done being miserable to make everyone else comfortable. The room went quiet again. I watched my daughter's face cycle through emotions I could not name. And then something happened that I did not expect. Her eyes filled with tears. She set down that card. She walked across the kitchen, and she wrapped her arms around me and held me tighter than she has held me since she was a little girl. And she said through her tears, Mom, I am so sorry. I am so sorry I made you feel like you had to hide. I am so sorry I was so focused on missing Dad that I forgot you were still here, still alive, still needing to live. We stood there in that kitchen crying together for what felt like an hour. And when we finally pulled apart, she asked me to tell her about Harold. So I did. I told her everything. And she listened. And at the end she said, I want to meet him. That dinner happened 2 weeks later. Harold was nervous. I was terrified. Catherine was quiet at first, watching him, assessing him the way she assesses everyone. But by the end of the meal, they were laughing together about something Harold said about his terrible cooking. And I looked across that table at my daughter and this man who has given me back my joy, and I felt something I had not felt in years. I felt like I was allowed to be happy. Here is what I need you to understand. If you are my age and you are hiding a relationship because you are afraid of what your children will think, hear me. You have spent your entire life taking care of everyone else. You have earned the right to take care of yourself. Your children, if they love you, they will come around. And if they do not, that is their work to do, not yours. You cannot keep yourself small to make them comfortable. And if you are watching this and you are the child, if your mother or your father has found someone new after losing a spouse, I am asking you, please be gentle with them. They are not replacing your parent. They are trying to survive. They are trying to find reasons to get out of bed. They are trying not to disappear before their time. Let them live. I am 74 years old. I have a boyfriend named Harold. He brings me coffee every morning and kisses my forehead before I fall asleep. My daughter knows, and she is happy for me, and I am not ashamed anymore. Tell me in the comments, have you ever hidden something important from your family because you were afraid of their reaction? I read every single comment. Your stories make me feel less alone in this house. And if this touched something in you, subscribe to this channel. Do it for the version of yourself who is still learning that it is never too late to start living again. If you know someone who needs to hear this, maybe someone who lost a spouse, maybe someone who has forgotten They are allowed to be happy. Share this with them. Sometimes a video finds people at exactly the right moment. Life is too short to wait for permission. Go live it.